1975, the Church Committee, which was a committee that was set up in part to uncover the atrocities of Project MKUltra, which really never much came to fruition. In 1975, they reported the involvement of paid propaganda by the CIA to journalists within Time magazine. The Washington Post, the New York Times, CBS, as well as many other media outlets. So this has been going on since 1940s, and this was uncovered in 1975. Do you think much has changed in the last, what is that, 80, 50 years? I don't think so. If anything, it's gotten worse. So all these media networks were run by people with really well-known liberal views, such as Arthur Hayes of the New York Times, William Paley of CBS, Henry Luke, who was from Time and Life magazine, as well as the managing editor of the Washington Post. Um, And again, this church committee, which was formerly known as the United States Senate Select Committee to study governmental operations with respect to intelligence activities, was a U.S. Senate Select Committee that investigated. It was, formulated in order to investigate the abuses of the CIA and the NSA and the FBI. The NSA didn't exist back then, but it was created afterward. And according to the Church Committee, the CIA had been involved in propaganda mind control by organizing and operating multiple media platforms like journalism and news networks in order to control the narrative and to persuade the public into accepting morals and ideals through sources or mediums. And the CIA has in fact used the motion pictures as weapons, MEMO, since the inception of this tactic, and through known as Operation Mockingbird, which was their use of Hollywood as a propaganda. And the CIA has controlled and operated journalists, news anchors, motion pictures, magazines, as well as all major Hollywood production companies like Disney and others in order to persuade the public opinion both on domestic affairs and to direct knowledge of world events. So what do you know? My computer is telling me that it is shutting off now because it has to do updates. Real suspect. But anyway, when we return shortly, I'm going to get into basically which 10 companies basically control everything. So there's 10 companies that control basically everything we eat, 7 companies that control the vast majority of, beauty products and things that we consume, and basically 5 corporations that rule all of media. And then if you trace those back even further, there's really just one company that kind of owns everything. Uh, and has basically a regulated monopoly, which is supposed to be, illegal, but it's ridiculous. And one of those companies is the Walt Disney Company, that in 2019 held at the assets that were worth about almost $200 billion. So together, AT&T and Walt Disney control over 80% of content released in the entertainment and broadcasting industries. So, there's a reason why we don't see diversity in Hollywood, and it's not an issue with just independent producers or studios, although they do control the narrative and make sure that the um, experiences of minorities and people of color and people of different sexual orientations do not get their voice out there, but it goes far, far beyond that to very, very nefarious purposes.